Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Friday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. So we now know that Ruby Sunday will be a contemporary companion from the 21st century, and because Doctor Who is launching this new 14th series, I think it's the 14th series in 2024, clearly Ruby is going to be from 2024 and beyond. So she's going to be a contemporary companion. Now I concede there's good reasons why they do this. I mean, basically every new Who, revival companion has been a modern day contemporary companion, because the idea is that they're supposed to be you and I, and when these characters like travel with the Doctor, it's supposed to be us. So I get it. Here's my issue, and I am disappointed that she is a contemporary companion, and I'll tell you why I'm disappointed. I mean, look, it's not a deal breaker. I still love RTD. I think he's a genius. I look up to him. I'm so proud that he got involved with the revival in the first place, and we've got Doctor Who, new Doctor Who. We've had new Doctor Who for the past 17 years, but I'm still disappointed with this, and I get why she's a contemporary companion. I've just explained that, but we've had a contemporary companion. We've had a companion that's just like you and I, since the revival began. Rose, Donna, Martha, Bill, Amy, Rory, Martha Jones, they've all been contemporary companions. I mean, Jenna Coleman was actually a Victorian companion for a Christmas special. They killed her off purposely to then make Clara a contemporary modern day companion when they had already set her up in a Christmas special. I actually thought that was so dumb, because I don't know about you, but I preferred Victorian Clara, right? She was a Victorian Clara, whatever. She was from the past, right? Because she seemed so much more unique and interesting. And modern day Clara, in the end, I liked modern day Clara. She ended up being a great character. Don't get me wrong, but the Victorian version of the character, I'm sorry, was much more interesting. My point is, you've done this to death. Oh, I'm a modern day companion. I'm like you, and I'm tough and strong, and I can challenge the Doctor. Yada, yada, yada. We've seen it before. It's been done before. And when you keep on doing something and you show no adventure and visionary kind of ideas, because the revival has been going for 17 years. So when it first came back and they started doing this, it seemed fresh and new. So I get it, right? And in classic Who, we had different types of companions. We didn't just have modern day companions, and that made the situation a little bit more varied and interesting. And after 17 years, I am bored of young, attractive women who are just like you and I. It's boring. And I don't know. Listen, you and I don't know if Russell's going to do something really bold and different with this character, even though she's from the modern era. I'll repeat what I keep on saying on every Doctor Who video. Russell said he wouldn't have come back unless he was going to do something dramatically different. That this new era he's doing is dramatically different. So we will have to wait and see, because I can't say that he's not attempting to do something bold and different, because I haven't seen it yet. Obviously, the regeneration from Jodie to David is bold, is different. He's regenerated back to a former incarnation, even though I don't believe that's the case. His clothes regenerated with him, which has never happened in Doctor Who history, which is really, really weird. So that element is really bold and interesting. So I'm definitely going to go with it. Look, Russell T Davies, as far as I'm concerned, was the best part of the Doctor Who revival. And that's obvious, because Russell wasn't just interested in telling great, dynamic, multi-layered stories, which he was. It was about the shape of the show, being a great show and bringing back people to watch it every week. So he took care of the business side and made sure butts were on seats, but he also did a good job with the storytelling, having great writers, great directors, the best VFX people. He did a great job, and he's definitely been the best showrunner since the show came back, because he copied and patterned what the revival was. So I'm not going to say to you, oh, you know, I'm not happy with Ruby Sunday, because I love the actor. She's one of the finest, brilliant, most talented actors in the world today, as is Ncuti Gatwa. They are going to be great on screen, in the pictures, in the promotional marketing we've seen for them. They look like they were born to act together. I'm very excited for this TARDIS team, you know, and that doesn't take away from my excitement. But what I'm saying is, and I understand the need to do this in a way, but definitely I think if I was running the show, I would say to the BBC, Disney or whoever, I'd say, listen, we've got to do something different now. Because I understand we want to, you know, suck people in with a relatable, young, attractive woman, because, you know, that's what the Tumblr crowd want to see. Attractive doctor, attractive companion. And this is what Russell's doing. Now, Chris Chibnall went a different way. We had 3 different companions, and I wouldn't, look, I don't want to be disrespectful in any way, but they certainly weren't kind of, you wouldn't put them on the cat shoot. You wouldn't start giving them a modelling career. They look like everyday people. Yeah, I'm no oil painting either, but I'm not going to be a companion on Doctor Who. But the point is, they look like everyday people, right? But we still didn't relate to them because Chibnall didn't give them any characterizations. But you look at Billie Piper, attractive young woman. Not so young anymore, but, you know, very attractive. I had a crush on her. She was a pop star. She was famous. Catherine Tate, I mean, again, she was a personality. She was, you know, a TV personality. We all knew who she was. So Catherine Tate was a little bit different because she wasn't this kind of teeny bopper, you know, like Rose Tyler. She was very different, and I think she was more relatable than Rose and the others, but still a contemporary companion. Martha Jones, young, attractive, again. Amy Pond, young, attractive. Clara Oswald, young, attractive. Can you see a kind of a theme here? And I get it, you need to sell your show, but at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing. And what's going to happen with Doctor Who in the end, if Russell isn't doing something bold, visionary and different with Ruby Sunday, people will get bored and walk away. Because the idea here is to bring people back to Doctor Who. Now, don't get me wrong. The fact that she's contemporary is definitely going to work, most probably going to work. It probably is the right decision. What I'm saying is I'm bored of it. And by doing the same thing for the past 17, you know, years on Doctor Who, because now the revival is going to start seeming old. It's not the new kid on the block, and it could end up just being like Classic Who ended up being, an old show that's had its time, that had to go, and everyone walked away from. And I think that's a concern to me. I love Doctor Who. I love this revival. I love Classic Who. I love everything about Doctor Who. It's my passion. It's my vibe. It's everything about what I love about storytelling. This mystical old traveller opens the door and tells you to come inside. It's like the Polar Express, right? For all that kid knows, that train conductor could be like, it could be trying to abduct him or anything, but he takes a leap of faith. And it's like when you get in a TARDIS. So I get it. You want a contemporary young companion. But I think the older the revival gets, I think we have to be looking at bold new ways, not just for the Doctor. And, you know, you don't want to change the Doctor too dramatically because that could be too much for people. But in terms of the companion, there would have been nothing wrong with Ruby being someone from the future, the past, or even an alien. You know, she could have been any of this. She could have been from a different planet. And yes, you do lose that contemporary vibe. But, you know, if you think you can't make a character relatable just because she's not contemporary, then maybe the problem's with you. Now, I know that Russell T Davies is a genius. I'm not saying he doesn't have the imagination to write a great companion. What I'm saying is that you just have to work harder to make them relatable. But this is what Russell believes. This is what Russell believes, is the right thing. And at the end of the day, Russell T Davies is back on Doctor Who because he has to be back on Doctor Who, because this is his legacy. He brought it back so successfully. Very few people revive an iconic property like this as successfully as Russell did. The man's a genius. I love him. I adore him. I admire him. But we can disagree respectfully and constructively with people we love, respect, and admire. And that's what I'm doing here. And as a fan, what I want to see is something a little bit different and not as contemporary. But here's the thing. Basically, Ruby is a contemporary companion because they don't care about me. I'm going to watch Doctor Who whatever happens. But they want to bring back the young, teenage, early 20s, females, younger guys. They want those people with, disposable incomes to come in to spend on the merch, the Blu-rays, the DVDs, and create a Doctor Who craze again. Because that's what happened in the 60s, that's what happened in 2005, and that kind of Beatles element of Doctor Who left with Russell T Davies, and they're trying to get it back. So I get it. So in the context of the business, and again, this is the second video today, I'm talking about branding over high art. And the thing is, if you were thinking about this from a narrative perspective only and not branding and business, you would say yes. Someone from the past, someone from the future, an alien, Ruby being one of those would be more interesting in terms of characterizations. But this is about business. This is about branding. And ultimately, in branding terms, yes, the companion, unfortunately, has to be a contemporary one. This has been the Doctor Who Daily here on Movies TV Mad. I am Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wife. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again in the next video. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.